I'm Doug Brown. Rams wideout Cooper Kupp will go on injured reserve. He'll have surgery tomorrow for a high right ankle sprain and miss at least 4 weeks. Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert is expected to miss extended time with a left shoulder injury. The Bills have lost 2 straight, and ESPN's Dan Graziano says Josh Allen's turnovers are a big part of it.
You get to a point where their record in close games is not a coincidence anymore, but I think you can get this figured out. He's still relatively young, and the good that he brings offsets the bad.
Dan Graziano on KJ and Max. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Commanders defensive lineman Chase Young could make his season debut against the Texans on Sunday. Young is coming back from torn knee ligaments a year ago. Grizzlies guard Desmond Bane will be out at least 2 to 3 weeks with a sprained right big toe. He's having a breakout year, averaging 25 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists a game. The Champions Classic College Hoops doubleheader tonight in Indy, starting at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and TV. Kentucky against Michigan State, followed by Kansas against Duke.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Topleg. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We welcome our audience on WBTR. We were started yesterday live on TV again. And for some reason, the screen is stretched. Paulie, can we maybe see what's going on there? I mean, they say television adds 10 pounds. That adds 10 inches of width to my body is what that is doing right now. But we are live on WBTR. That's Cox, Channel 19 in Baton Rouge, Channel 144 on Rev. And if you're a cord cutter and you got the antenna, it's 36.1. All right, man, we got a lot to get to today. I'm excited about today's show. Peter Burns in about 15 minutes. Shannon Terry, the founder, CEO of On3 Sports. He'll be with us 1 hour from right now. We have followed Harold Perkins' ascent, and it's remarkable. We've talked about it a lot here. But if you're not familiar with who Shannon Terry is, he founded, if I'm not mistaken, he founded Rivals, and then sold it. When his non-compete expired, he founded 247, built it, sold it. And when the non-compete expired, now he's founded On3. So pretty brilliant guy in this space. And one of the things that On3 has done that's been a big differentiator is they have put an NIL calculator function on their website, on their platform. So when you look at On3, you will see the NIL valuation for every commitment, every athlete. Like, for example, Paulie, can you pull this up? This is the On3 LSU site. And so here's all the LSU commits. So you'll see right there, if you're watching, the column second to the right is the NIL value. So, for example, Shelton Sampson Jr., the 5-star wide receiver, has an NIL value of $237,000. So they have that not just for commits, but also for current student athletes. Well, after the Alabama game, Harold Perkins' NIL value on On3 doubled to over $600,000. And that was before the Arkansas game. So we're going to talk to Shannon Terry 1 hour from right now. I want to talk to you about Harold Perkins, about that ascent, how they put that NIL valuation together, how all of that works. So that's coming up an hour from right now. And Sean Salisbury in hour number 3. Of course, we know today's Tuesday Muse. Nothing tonight, right? Nothing going on at all tonight?
Maction.
Maction, yes.
Toledo's in action.
Oh, we got Maction action tonight. Get ready for Otter.
Maction.
Yeah, that's what I said, Maction. We get some Maction action.
Just Maction.
Is it redundant to say Maction action?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it probably is, but I don't care. I like saying Maction action.
Bowling Green in Toledo, Ohio and Ball State.
Yeah,
2 of them.
I will probably honestly be watching that because Otter's going to give us picks during Otter Locks, and so I'll make my bets and I'll watch accordingly. We get the Pellies. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone. Pellies, a national game tonight on TNT.
Yeah.
Ja Morant, former Matt McMahon disciple, Ja Morant.
I think Matt McMahon's going to go to the game. I mean,
no.
No, you don't think? I mean, they don't play. LSU don't play till Thursday, man.
Doesn't matter. I think he's got stuff to do here. But listen, turn down the sound, turn up Graph, all that good stuff.
Gotta turn up
That's
Graph.
all. That's all that's going on tonight, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I think so. Did I forget something? Did you forget something? Is there a?
Don't say it.
Oh, I know what it is.
Don't say it.
The College Football Playoff Rankings show is tonight. 6 o'clock, right when we're leaving studio, Matt.
I mean, I get it. I get there's great interest, right?
Yeah.
I get it. LSU's in the rankings and all that sort of stuff. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter today. It doesn't matter. LSU's probably going to be 6. Oregon lost.
Yeah.
So LSU should jump up a spot to 6 unless the committee says, LSU, tough game there with Arkansas. We're going to be really crazy and leapfrog you with Clemson or
Not
USC.
Clemson. Not Clemson.
Maybe USC.
Could be USC.
But
Not
USC
Clemson.
beat a 1-win Colorado team.
Hey, look, it's tough. Sometimes it's tough.
Well, LSU had a tough game against Arkansas.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just don't care. It just doesn't matter at all. So we'll let this thing play out. We will find out the new rankings, and we'll all overreact, or you all will overreact to whatever happens tonight. Hopefully it's nothing. The top 4 should remain unchanged. I think Tennessee will be 5, LSU will be 6, and then we'll figure it out after that. Probably USC 7, see what they do with how far Oregon falls after their loss. But really, if you're LSU at this point, what you're cheering for, and we've gone over this, you want Clemson to lose somewhere along the way, and you want USC to lose somewhere along the way. Because if you have a 2-loss ACC and a 2-loss Pac-12 champion, that would all but guarantee LSU as an SEC champion a berth in the playoff. And then the committee would figure out who do they put in, Georgia, 1-loss Georgia or 1-loss Tennessee. And I don't envy them for having to do that, but I ain't on the committee. And I think a 14 playoff is stupid, and all these teams should be in, and we should play it on the field. All right, it's time for further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Peter Burns of the SEC Network. I'll ask him his opinion on that coming up here in just a few minutes. Of course, brought to you by DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Pellies tonight, you want to bet on that game, you can. If you're a new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 moneyline bet on any NBA game. If you hit, they give you $200 in free bets. That's at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Stepped up same-game parlays. Get up to a 100% boost. Got to opt in. Got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. That's right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. We got Maction tonight. You got NBA tonight. Got so much going on, man. You want to bet on all of it? Have some fun. Do it with the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And be sure to use the promo code Baton Rouge. That's DraftKings. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-877-770-STOP. Hey, Muse, I saw that Dennis Allen spoke to reporters. This was the Monday teleconference, yeah?
Yeah, it was yesterday, like a 15 minutes after we went on air.
Okay. And they asked him if he was going to make a quarterback change. Is that right? Something like that?
Something like that. If there was need to evaluate the quarterback position, I think is how it was phrased.
Can I hear that, please, what Dennis Allen said?
Sure.
We haven't been doing as well in the last couple of weeks, and so I think we got to evaluate that. I think that's something that we need to look at. Yeah.
And Jameis is a candidate.
Yeah.
To be ready to play if that's what you.
I believe so.
Oh, he believes so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wait a minute. He believes Jameis would be a candidate. Well, why wouldn't Jameis be a candidate?
I mean, he had the injury and
Wait,
broken back.
There's something else he says here. Wait, Jameis health update. Can I hear what he said there? Because
sure.
I thought he said Jameis was healthy. Go ahead.
I feel like probably have to visit with him a little bit in terms of that, or visit with the medical staff in terms of that. And I think Jameis said this the other day. I don't know that he's ever going to be 100% healthy this season, but he's in here every day. He's in here every morning, working with the trainers, getting himself ready, and I feel like he's closer to being there.
Huh. Closer. Wait. He's closer to being there?
Closer.
That means you're going to have to help me here. Now, my memory's not real good, okay? One too many hits in the head. You know what I mean? What?
Not really, but okay. I don't know when you got hit in the head.
I played football a long time ago in an era when there were no concussion protocols and things like that.
If you say so.
So I was an offensive lineman. I mean, look, every play.
It's physical,
always
I get
these
it.
mini car crashes, right?
Tough position in the trenches.
Yeah, right there. So, but I thought I remember Dennis Allen saying that, like, Jameis was good to go, right? I mean, or that. Am I right on that?
Well, so this all started before they played the Raiders, right? And Jameis was spotted at practice, and he was asked, Dennis Allen, was asked after, what's the situation with quarterback, and that's when he named Andy.
Because they had lost a couple of games.
Yeah, that's when he just named Andy Dalton the starter regardless of health, though. Remember this?
All the quarterbacks were full today. Andy's going to get the start again this week. I feel like he's played well offensively. I feel like we're in a little bit of a rhythm. We've been moving the ball effectively again. We've scored points. And so we're going to continue down that road with Andy as the quarterback.
Oh, okay. So all the quarterbacks were full?
Yeah, including Jameis Winston.
Did he say anything else that day?
Well, yeah. See, so the natural follow-up there, right, would be, well, so is it performance-based strictly that Dalton continues to start?
Right, so not because of Jameis' health.
Right.
It was just, okay.
This is what he said to that.
I think it's an offensive decision. And what I mean by that is, in the last 4 weeks, again, we're one of the top offenses in terms of moving the ball. We're one of the top offenses in terms of scoring points, and that's really the name of the game. And so we're going to continue doing what we've been doing. We got to do a better job of protecting the football. And if we do that, I think we can be highly effective offensively.
So then they beat the Raiders. So basically what he said, there was the quarterbacks are full go, and they were making the decision because the offense has been really good. Well, then they played Baltimore and they stunk.
It was not good. It was
bad.
So
was Dennis Allen asked after they stunk against Baltimore about quarterbacks?
He was asked specifically, would he consider a change moving forward at quarterback?
What did he say?
I didn't. Look, we there was a lot that wasn't good offensively tonight, and so there's a lot of dirty hands in that.
Okay. So not really just on the quarterback. But then they went up to and Andy Dalton stung. Remember, he had a wide open Marquez Callaway before the end of the half, missed him. A third grader could make that throw. Andy Dalton didn't. So then they go play, but he was only all the quarterbacks were healthy.
All of them.
But he was only playing Dalton because it was performance based. So then they went and played Pittsburgh, and he stunk again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they scored 10 points.
Yeah.
So what did he say after that?
They asked him kind of the same thing. Are you going to consider a quarterback change going forward? And this is what he said post game.
I'm not going to get into that right now. We just, came off the game. We'll have plenty of time to evaluate where we're at in a lot of areas.
Oh, so they evaluated. And now he's saying, we got to look at it because isn't that what he said? He said we got to consider a change. We got to consider it, right? Isn't that what he said? Play that again. Consider it.
From yesterday?
Yeah. They gotta,
We haven't been doing as well in the last couple of weeks, and so I think we got to evaluate that. I think that's something that we need to look at. Yeah.
And Jameis is a candidate. To be ready to play if that's what you say.
I believe so.
Now, Muse, again, it's to the hit.
A lot of them.
If Jameis was a full go 3 weeks ago, and he's been dressed out at all these games, and the decision was performance-based to play Andy, and now Andy stinks, why would he have to check on Jameis? Why wouldn't that? I believe he's good to go. Why? I don't understand. Oh, Oh, you mean because the guy with 4 fractured vertebrae and a ruptured tendon in his foot wasn't actually able to play football like 2-3 weeks after those devastating injuries? Friggin' shocker! Listen, I'm going to say this again, all right? Because I said it enough. And I'm tired of listening to all y'all throw darts at me about, hey, man, Jameis sucks. I ain't sitting here talking about Jameis Winston if he's good or bad. I don't know if he's going to be good. I don't know if he can win with the Saints. His career may be over. I don't care, all right, at this point. What I'm saying is, if you try to convince me that a man with 4 fractured vertebrae and a ruptured tendon in his foot was healthy enough to go, you were pissing on my head and telling me it was raining, all right? I never bought it. You never should have bought it. I told you never should have bought it. Now, maybe they play Jameis this week, and maybe he sucks. Maybe he sucks the next 7 weeks. I don't know. I don't care at this point. The season's lost. It's done. It's over. Dennis Allen's probably getting fired. He'll be a one and done, and maybe Jameis will be a castaway, and all that'll be good, and I'll move on, and we'll all just go through this miserable era of Saints football where they try to figure out how to be good again, and maybe that'll happen. But Dennis Allen trying to convince us that the reason they were going with Andy Dalton all along was because the offense was functioning. And now in hindsight, 8 weeks after Jameis has been sitting, 2 months after Jameis has been sitting, now you're going to tell me, well, I don't know if he's good to go. Well, what do you think it was the last 8 weeks? Lieutenant, not a general. Peter Burns is next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana, title sponsor of our Tuesday shows all throughout the year. You know where to find them, lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net. Better coverage for less money. Got to catch my breath a little bit now. That's what happens when fat dudes yell a lot and they kind of scream, they sweat, and get a little out of breath. But here's what might get you a little out of breath when you see the savings on your insurance coverage. Everyone's seeing inflation and what's happening right now. It just costs more to do everything. Costs more at the pump, costs more at the grocery store. So a lot of us are looking, man, how can you save? How can you make your family budget work? Well, you can either find a way to make more money or find a way to save money. And maybe you could save on the insurance that you pay every single month. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop independently for free to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. Call them, 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Undoubtedly, the greatest celebratory moment after LSU and Alabama was when our friend Peter Burns was videoing himself and his Alabama fan wife there inside of Tiger Stadium on the 2-point conversion play, and the very organic reactions were beautiful. Peter Burns, who was not with us last week because he decided to go to Disney World, is here now. PB, how are you?
We barely made it by Disney World. I mean, like, what kind of idiot plans a 4-day bender for LSU Bama straight to Disney World, and then, oh, by the way, a hurricane shows up. So it was like, oh, buddy, I'm telling you. And then coming back, so they cancel all the flights from Orlando. I got to find like a very sketchy rental car place. I'm talking 35% chance this car was stolen. But I needed to get back to Charlotte because I had to host like 3 days in a row. And I'm just like, at the end of it, I looked at my wife and I go, I'd do it all over again. It was great.
Wait, take me back.
It was worth it.
Take me back to the moment of the 2-point conversion. So you have the camera, and we're showing this for people watching. For those listening, Peter's got his phone on himself, and behind him is his wife, who is an Alabama fan. So you're seeing both of their reactions organically. Walk me through the decision to video that. Like, what's going through your head in that moment?
Well, I'm like, it's either going to be the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat, either way for either one of us, right? Like, It's a 2-point conversion. There's no extra point. There's no overtime. Like, it is feast or famine, like survive and advance. And so I'm like, either it's going to be the incredible reaction for her, or it's going to be I'm going crazy. I'll go nuts. And so what's funny is when you see the video, and it's on my Instagram, I'm sure you guys are showing it down on my Twitter page, that automatically she knows, like, she sees the play happen. So she's like, oh, I cannot believe it. I got to wait for like another split second because I've premature celebrated way too many times. And where I'm like, the first thing you do is look like, were there any flags? Any flags on the play? Like, and then it was like a half second, like, holy blank, that ish actually happened. And then, I mean, literally, I was probably the first person or the first person to nearly fall off the 500 level over the stage because, like, a security officer came over to me. A security officer is like, "Sir, if you could please not jump up and down by the railings, we'd appreciate it."
There's a negative consequence involved somewhere in there.
I mean,
go ahead.
Literally, Matt. I today. We're a week past this, and I'm still kind of just high on that victory. I legitimately texted Greg Byrne, the athletic director, who I know and I'm friends with, and I was like, "Hey, man, I completely forgot. Like, at some point, I forgot that I was the anchor of the SEC network." And not just a diehard LSU fan kid from Port Allen, Louisiana. And he laughed, and he was just like, "Hey, man, what a great victory!" And he handled it great as well too. So it was awesome. What can I say? And it would have meant basically nothing had we lost against Arkansas last week.
I know. It still would have meant a lot. Don't get it twisted. It still would have been awesome. First time to beat them in Baton Rouge since 2010. Yeah, it still means a lot. So what was the night like then after the game? Was Lauren just like completely pissed the whole night?
It was, she was fine with it because, listen, she was there in 2012 and she was like, she remembers our first LSU Alabama date, like before we were really, like before you even engaged, is when TJ Yeldon took the screen pass and like broke my heart. So it's like, she's been there before. And she was just kind of like, I don't think she was annoyed, but it wasn't annoying until we got back to my buddy Rory Aver's house, and we're just sitting there for like 2 hours reliving every single play, every single moment. And then finally she's just like, I got to go to bed. Like, how many times do I have to hear the ranking of the top 5 home victories in the last 20 years, right? Like, and I go, oh, you're going to hear it. Oh, you're going to hear it.
All right, I do have to take exception, though, because I did see your tweet. Peter Burns is with us. He's on Twitter at Peter Burns, ESPN, SEC Network, of course, courtesy of Blue Delta Jeans. I did see your ranking of, like, the top games in Tiger Stadium. Like, can you please clarify then? So it was the last. Yeah. Okay, because you just put like the top games in Tiger Stadium, and they were all like in the last 20 years. I'm like, hold on, bro, what are we doing?
Well, no, but that was the idea. The idea was that it was in the last 20 years, and so that's one of the reasons why I never put, 97 Florida. I mean, like that's like the first semblance of like life back into the LSU program. Like I didn't have that one in there. It was like, all right, last 2 decades. Like what were the games that were the most pivotal? And I mean, like to me, it was Skylar Green catching the pass in 2003.
Sure.
Then it was, Hester and Lestigals going for it 15 times in 2007. Then it was Demetrius Byrd in 2008. And then I was like,
2007. That was 2007, yeah.
Yeah, 2007. And then I go, I know it's recency bias, but I feel like 22 Bama just because it had been so long. It's Brian Kelly's first year. It had been over a decade. Like that made the list, and then I had to find one more because lists suck if you only have 4. Like I feel like you had to have a 5.
What did you put Ole Miss 2014 Ole Miss?
I don't think I put 2014 Ole Miss in there. Would you put it in there, top 5?
Hell no. Like the fact that LSU stormed the field against Ole Miss in 2014 is nauseating to me. Like that. First of all, it was not a great game. Ole Miss was ranked 3rd, but that was an awful game. It was 10-7. Logan Stokes scored a touchdown. Like that game, like yes, you beat a highly ranked team. Right. South Carolina in 2012 was ranked 3rd when you beat them here. Like that was Marcus Lattimore, Jadeveon Clowney, Stephon Gilmore, Devin Taylor, Connor Shaw. Like that was a great team. Like that was a much bigger win than 2014 Ole Miss.
So what's funny is I started thinking about it. As I go through those top 5, I'm like, was there a game in 2019, arguably one of the greatest seasons in the history of college football, much less LSU, that made a top 5 list? And I'm like, I don't know, because all of them were such ass kicking that it never really felt like one of those were like moments. I mean, it was Bama and that game was in Tuscaloosa, and it was the UT game up over in Austin that would have made the list as far as great games, but they weren't in Tiger Stadium.
Beating Texas A&M 50-7 and basically just sitting on the ball for the final like quarter and a half. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if we want to go back, and it wasn't quite. I mean, I could have put 2007 Virginia Tech game, the 48-7 game.
Yeah.
I could have put that in there because that might, to this day, that might be the most dominant I've ever seen an LSU team.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Like, oh my God.
Oh, here's your list. I found the tweet. Yeah. All right, here it is. I found it. All right, you had 2003 Georgia, naturally, which any list of greatest games in Tiger Stadium is incomplete without that. You had 07 Florida, 07 Auburn. Number 4, you put this year's Alabama, and then you put 2019 Auburn, which definitely does not deserve to be on that list.
Yeah, I mean, literally, that was like me after 11 cocktails being like, I got to put something in there. And then my buddies are just like, 2019 Auburn, sure, whatever. It doesn't matter.
2000 Tennessee, 2001 Auburn to clinch the first SEC West championship was massive. I don't know, man. 05 Auburn, where they had all the missed field goals, was awesome as well. There was an overtime game. Man, there's so many good ones. But anyway,
and we're going, and now I'll cover them in Atlanta. How about that?
That will be a lot of fun. Do you give LSU a shot against Georgia?
I mean, coming from a guy who didn't think they have a chance against Alabama, what the hell does my opinion mean anymore? But I mean, yeah, listen, as long as you've got a game wrecker in Perkins and Ojulari, I mean, things can happen, right? I mean, I like LSU's defense more than I like Missouri's defense. Missouri was able to kind of, find the right place at the right time. Just this offense needs to get back clicking again.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, I know it was cold and whatnot, but to be able to see we've had this season with Butte and Neighbors both have one touchdown.
Isn't that so bizarre?
Isn't
that so bizarre? And they're going to be 10-2, Pete. It's crazy.
I mean, fingers crossed. As long what was the wide receiver at A&M said that he wants to pee in the Wheaties for LSU now? That's their
pee in the cornflakes.
That's their Super Bowl now, which is an interest. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong cereal.
Yeah, cornflakes is what he said. Yeah, that's okay. Do you prefer Wheaties or cornflakes, by the way?
Neither, if people pee in them. I got to be honest.
No. Let's just go standard milk and cereal. Wheaties or cornflakes?
I'm gonna go cornflakes. I mean, neither of them. Both of them stink. Give me beignets from Coffee Call.
Yeah,
and we'll call it a day.
I know. Do you know there's a beignet beer now?
Is that good?
It's called Beignet Olé. The brewery out of New Orleans, which is called Faubourg, which is formerly Jack's, right? They rebranded and they have a beer, a special release called Beignet Olé, which is what you don't realize is that there's actually coffee in the beer. So if you try to drink 6 of them, it's also like drinking a whole lot of coffee. I learned that lesson the hard way, Pete. I learned the lesson. It's a great beer, but shouldn't sit there and drink 6 of them, especially at night. That's a bad option.
That sounds like something T-Bob would do in the post-game show. That sounds like...
sounds like what T-Bob would do for breakfast. What are you talking about?
He would do that any
moment of his life.
Yeah, it's just again, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about that. But I ask you this, if I would have told you before the season, Matt, what would be what less likely to happen? LSU to Atlanta or A&M not making a bowl game? Which would you have selected?
LSU to Atlanta.
Right? As good. I mean, Bryce Young's coming back. Will Anderson. They got Jahmyr Gibbs. It's first year. I mean, especially after the first week after the FSU debacle.
PB, when we were sitting there in Atlanta at Media Days, and you had your awful mustache because you were trying to be Miles Teller, we all had this.
That thing was beautiful.
It was not.
You
beautiful.
shut your dirty, you know what mouth? That thing was beautiful, and I will hang up right now if you ever besmirch that Media Day mustache.
Let's be real, okay? It was a good gimmick for a few days, but let's be real about what it is. You're a beautiful exactly. You're a beautiful man. You're a beautiful man. So don't ruin and spoil your face with that trashy stash, okay? I am not a beautiful man. I am bald. I am overweight. I have to have a beard that adds some degree of color to my face. I get it. I know what I am. I had my day. Everybody's got their prime. My prime was when I was 26, okay? I'm well past it. So anyway, when we were sitting there and you had your awful trash stash, and we all had this conversation about everyone unanimously agreed, Bama in the West, Georgia in the East, who's the next best team? And there was no consensus. So I totally would have believed. I did not buy A&M at all. I didn't think they would be looking at a 3-7 or 4-8 football team. But it wouldn't have surprised me if you told me Jimbo doesn't figure out quarterback and the wheels fall off. I mean, at 8-4, they're closer to 4-8 than they are 12-0.
Yeah, but still, I mean, at that point, if I'm telling you that they're going to be where they're at now, and LSU is at where they're now, I could have seen something kind of like lightning in the bottle for LSU. I don't know. Both of them are just so surreal. And both of them make me happy, to a certain extent. I mean, it's crazy, man. And then now what's interesting is that if LSU does pull off the upsets of upsets, I mean, can you imagine Tennessee just sitting there going, wait a minute, LSU's in a college football playoff and we house them in their place, and then now TCU's going to go? It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks.
What do you think? Oh, so last thing, and I got to go quick. Sorry. if it does come, let's say you have undefeated Big Ten, undefeated TCU, LSU beats Georgia, who gets the 2 spots?
I mean, at that point, it's got to be undefeated. It's Georgia, it's Ohio State, it's LSU and TCU, right? I mean, USC's not getting in and Tennessee's not getting in.
Okay.
You can't. I mean, a 10-2 LSU with wins over Alabama, which probably will win out, with the win against Georgia, the number 1 team in the country. You're not leaving them out. I just can't see that world.
Okay. 2016 Penn State is what spooks me. They won the Big Ten. They beat Ohio State, but they were a 2-loss team, and one loss Ohio State, which lost to Penn State, got in. The committee will do whatever they want, man. So that's what kind of spooks me as a potential with Tennessee. So, Peter Burns, he's on Twitter at Peter Burns ESPN. Y'all give him a follow. He's with us courtesy of Blue Delta Jeans, and he is a beautiful man without a mustache. Thank you, Pete. We appreciate it as always.
See you, buddy.
All right, we'll see you. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC next.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. We told you last week that Gordon put pen to paper with Jaden Daniels, of course, Tiger quarterback. Well, Gordon has expanded his purple and gold NIL roster, announcing that running back Josh Williams is now part of the Get Gordon team. So the G team expands. You got QB1, you got RB1. Congrats to Josh Williams on getting Gordon. Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, we tell you every day, if you've been injured and it's not your fault, call a local attorney and a team of attorneys that are going to help fight for you. That's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, you can go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com, or call 888-8888. That's 888-8888. And I have it on good accord that there might be a Gordfather billboard coming very soon. Oh, that's going to be so good. Get Gordon. Get it done.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
All right, let's say ah.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
They have, one of the best running backs in the country in Dwayne McBride. He's got over 1,400 yards rushing, very accomplished on offense. I think from an overview, what I would say is a very mature team. This is made up of fifth-year seniors. There's a number of sixth-year players on this team. So this is a mature veteran football team that has a very good offensive structure.
Brian Kelly previewing the game this week against UAB. Interesting look. UAB, the more I look at them, this is a pretty cut-and-dried football game. They do not throw the ball particularly well, but, man, when you look at McBride, their running back, leads the country in yards, rush yards per game. They are a line-up and run-at-you type game. This is a see-ball, hit-ball game for the LSU defense. If they come ready to play, they should be able to choke out UAB. But if you come sleepwalking, man, they'll pop you. So that's a pretty good football team that, really got thrown a curveball when Bill Clark retired before the season. So remember, UAB shut down their program. They brought it back. Bill Clark did a marvelous job there, retired before the start of this season. So Brian Vincent stepped in, and he was talking about coming down to Baton Rouge and talked about what for them is the number 4, please, is the recipe for an upset.
The key is our goal is we want to win the time of possession. We need to stay ahead of the sticks. We don't need to get behind the sticks against these guys, really against any football team. So we've got to stay ahead of the sticks. We've got to establish the run game. We've got to be great on third downs. And when we get in the red zone, we've got to score touchdowns without a doubt. And we've got to have great ball securities. We can't give this football team as good and as talented as they are. We cannot give these guys extra possessions.
We'll certainly chop this game up more and more as we get closer to the weekend. We'll go around the SEC in just a second. Remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. You know the drill. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. Tell you all the time about their siding. Remember, we talk all the time about windows and doors, but you can have the complete exterior of your home redone in about 2 weeks. So if you have family coming in for the holidays and you want to beautify the exterior of your home, basically a brand new looking exterior, from phone call to installation, that can happen in about 2 weeks. So call Relief Windows, find out about how siding can be energy efficient. It can actually make your home safer. It can be fire resistant. It won't chip or peel or crack. It's Relief Windows. Learn more. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee offensive coordinator Alex Golesh has been nominated for the Broyles Award, of course, given annually to the nation's best assistant. Vols are number 1 in the FBS in scoring and total offense. Hendon Hooker's a Heisman candidate. Jalen Hyatt is the front runner for the Biletnikoff. Golesh also is the primary play caller there at Tennessee. They're trying to keep him. In August, they bumped his pay from $750 to $1.2 million annually, and they extended him through 2024, but he should be a hot name.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy football quarterback A.J. Swann questionable against Florida this week. Swann left the game against South Carolina before halftime with an undisclosed injury. Missed Saturday's win against Kentucky. Of course, Mike Wright led them to that win. Snapped the 26-game SEC losing streak. Even if Swann is cleared to return, Lee wouldn't say which quarterback would start against the Gators. Also, injured offensive linemen Xavier Castillo and Ben Cox are likely out for the season.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
2 key players from South Carolina were limited during practice on Tuesday, according to Shane Beamer. Beamer is hopeful that running backs Marshawn Lloyd and Christian Beal-Smith will be able to play Saturday when Tennessee visits Williams-Brice Stadium. Beamer did not share an update, however, on offensive linemen Vershawn Lee and Wyatt Campbell, neither of whom traveled to Florida.
the Florida Gators.
Florida wide receiver Trent Whitmore has announced on social media that he is leaving Florida. He'll enter the transfer portal at the end of the season. He's played each of the last 3 seasons and been a pretty good contributor there for the Gators, but in recent weeks his role has diminished and now says that he will enter the portal when the season ends.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky Hoops has landed DJ Wagner, the number 2 overall prospect in the 2023 class, committing to Kentucky over a slew of offers: Louisville, Villanova, Memphis, among others. John Calipari coached DJ Wagner's father, DeJuan Wagner, at Memphis. God, that'll make you feel old. Wildcats, that's their 3rd top 5 recruit for the 2023 class, and they have leapfrogged Duke for the top class in the country. Wagner, number 2 in the 247 composite. 247 has Wagner the number 1 overall prospect in the country.
The Auburn Tigers.
And this is a little bit of interesting news and a one-off that we probably wouldn't often discuss here. But, of course, Auburn made a lot of waves when Olympic all-around gold medal gymnast Suni Lee committed to Auburn. She spent her freshman year there last year and will compete this year in 2023 as a sophomore. But Suni Lee has announced this will be her last season at Auburn. She is, of course, the reigning Olympic all-around gold medalist, and she says after this upcoming season at Auburn, she'll turn her attention toward the 2024 Olympics, trying to defend her gold medal in Paris. Lee put together the most decorated single-season performance in Auburn program history. She earned 8 All-America honors, 1 individual NCAA title on the beam, and finishes the runner-up in the all-around at the NCAA championship. Suni Lee intends on defending her gold in Paris. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. Remember, with warehouses in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, and Lafayette, no matter where your office is, they can get you same day, worst case scenario, the next day, by 10 a.m. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. Okay, let's knock out our final break of hour number 1. When we come back, I do want to take you up to Charlottesville, Virginia, and get an update on former U High standout Mike Hollins with a bit of good news. We'll get to that when we wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
I'm Chris Nakamoto. Here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A former high school football player shot in Virginia in a mass shooting Sunday had a second successful surgery. His mother telling WBRZ he's doing great after getting shot in the back. More on what she had to say tonight about the road to recovery and the challenges ahead. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
As we're approaching 48 hours after the unthinkable in Charlottesville, Virginia, we're starting to get more news and notes. Of course, as we mentioned yesterday, our condolences, sincere condolences, are with the families of the 3 football players that were shot and killed. And our prayers continue to be with the other 2 players that were shot and continue their fight for recovery. One of them is Baton Rouge's own Mike Hollins. Talked about this a bit yesterday. For those that aren't aware, Mike prepped at University High. He was part of some amazing football teams there, with a lot of names that you know: Jordan Clark and Micaiah Tung, Jaqueline Roy, Brennan Constantine, the defensive lineman, went on and played at Clemson. I mean, I'm leaving guys off, but there was some amazing talent. Mike Hollins was the running back on the team, and went to the University of Virginia. His mother, Brenda, tweeted earlier this morning, "Family, Mike will be going in for a second surgery at 8 a.m. Keep praying. Please keep praying for all of the families that are going through this horrific tragedy." I'll mention this just as a note. Ross Dellinger has done a great job. He's in Charlottesville. He's covering this story. Brenda Hollins, I don't know if she still does, but she did work at Gordon McKernan's office. And this has nothing to do with Gordon's sponsorship of this show, by the way. This is just a point of – it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. Just a point of reference. So Gordon is serving as the family's spokesperson. He's the one talking to the media for the family. So Ross spoke with Gordon, and that's how their families are very close. John Gordon was the quarterback of those teams and played with Mike. So they're very close. Brenda Hollins worked at Gordon's office. So there's a lot of reasons why. Ross tweeted a bit ago after speaking with Gordon that Mike, this was 3 hours ago, so this was around noon Central Time, that Mike Hollins is out of his second surgery and is, quote, doing well. He has also been removed from a ventilator. I am not going to pretend to sit here and be a doctor or anything along those lines. I have had a child who's gone through many surgeries and been intubated during those surgeries. I think many of you have probably experienced such. And a lot of times, I can tell you from my experience, when you put on a ventilator, it's because they want to let the machine do the work and let your body heal. So, but the good news is that Mike Hollins has been removed from the ventilator, so he's breathing on his own. He's out of his second surgery, and all of that progresses, but clearly still in critical condition. So we continue to watch and pray for Mike that he can heal. But what an incredible scene in Charlottesville last night. There was a vigil, and if you haven't seen it, Ross tweeted this. There are literally thousands of people on the lawn at the University of Virginia. This is how and there was a moment of silence. This is how it sounded. I mean, it's stunning. I mean, even when you try to have a moment of silence in sporting events and arenas, you'll always have people talking or cheering or whatever that may be. And there are literally thousands of people there on the lawn at the University of Virginia, and it is utter silence. I mean, the silence is deafening. So that community is unified, and we certainly send our prayers for healing to Mike Hollins and to everyone who is hurting through all this. All right, hour number 2 is next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, or might be, I get it, everybody's looking around and you see a lot of empty car lots. It has been a struggle for a lot of folks to get inventory. Not at South Point Volkswagen. They actually have inventory on the lot. I would highly recommend, if you're looking for a vehicle, to go test drive one today over at South Point Volkswagen. Not just new vehicles, but also certified pre-owned. So if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, they've got Volkswagens, but also all different makes and models. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. So when they sell you a new vehicle, a lot of people trade in their old vehicle. So all different makes and models. You can search their certified pre-owned inventory. Go to the website at southpointvw.com, hit the used inventory tab, and you can see all their inventory. If it's on the lot, it's online at southpointvw.com. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
During the season of Thanksgiving, Corvell Toyota wants to take the time to thank you for your business. We could not be in business for over 50 years without you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you from Corvell Toyota in Opelousas.
Thank you.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. NFL injury news today. Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert will probably miss extended time with a left shoulder injury. No decision yet if he'll go on IR. Rams wideout Cooper Kupp will have right ankle surgery tomorrow. He will go on IR.
Hold on, Bo. Hey, Shannon? Shannon, can you hear me? I could just hear them.
Get to 5-5 before the bye was a big goal for all of us.
Tom Brady, the Warriors send James Wiseman to their G League team in Santa Cruz. He'll be able to get more playing time there. Wiseman played only 8 minutes last night against the Spurs and not at all in the 3 previous games. TCU guard Damian Baugh gets a 6-game suspension from the NCAA for signing with an NBA-certified agent after last season.
Temperature's getting low, but demand remains high? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates, all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Pelly's back on the floor tonight. Means it's Christmas. Graff will be with us in 15 minutes. Looking forward to that. Sean Salisbury, 1 hour from right now. We are connecting with Shannon Terry, the founder, CEO of On3 Sports. A pretty fascinating topic that has developed. And I was passed a note from the folks at On3 after the Alabama game that Harold Perkins' NIL valuation doubled after the Bama game. Now considering his National Defensive Player of the Week honors that he's gotten, I am very curious to see what's happened since. So we're having trouble connecting with Shannon. We're going to try to get him on the phone. We're trying to go via Zoom. We're going to try to get him on the phone. So we'll get Shannon linked up here in just a quick second. But needless to say, the job that Harold Perkins has done here of late is remarkable. And look, LSU is going to play UAB this weekend. And UAB head coach Brian Vincent raved about Harold Perkins. Listen to the respect that Brian Vincent, the UAB head coach, gave for Harold Perkins this week.
You know, after just 12 or 14 hours of film yesterday and late last night, he's a guy that really stood out. And Perkins, you sit there and you watch him and you watch all the things that he does, whether he's rushing the passer, whether he's spying the quarterback, whether he's playing coverage. This is without a doubt the best true freshman I've seen in my career, without a doubt. He's explosive, he's powerful, he can play with speed and power, and he plays with a lot of savviness. So this kid, this young man is the best true freshman I've seen in my career.
the best true freshman I've seen in my career. That is a stunning amount of respect. Harold Perkins is 10 games into his career, y'all. He's 10 games into his career. And if we're being honest, he really only started to dramatically increase his role in this defense with Florida and then stepped it up against Ole Miss in the second, late in the second quarter against Ole Miss. So a stunning degree of respect. And Brian Kelly did say when he met with the media yesterday that he is anticipating other teams starting to spy Perkins. And I'll tell you, spent part of the day earlier today. Gordy Rush every Tuesday does the Tiger War Room where he looks at game film and cut-ups, and Gordy does a little bit of a film breakdown for each LSU game. And I was invited to participate a little bit today, not in the film breakdown, but just talking about the team. And one of the really interesting things was how Kendall Briles started to scheme Harold Perkins out of the box. And there were many occasions in that football game that they schemed Harold Perkins out of the box to either into the slot to cover receivers or whatever it may be. And that's what you want to do, is get him away from the football. But even still, on a day where Kendall Briles, a very good play caller, was scheming to get Harold Perkins away from the ball, away from the line of scrimmage, he still had the day he did with 4 sacks, two forced fumbles, everything that transpired the way it did, which was pretty stunning to watch all that transpire. So Harold Perkins, his role, his value, his the public awareness about him just continues to grow. And I was asked yesterday if I thought Harold Perkins might have an opportunity to win the Butkus Award. And it's hard to imagine as a true freshman having the opportunity to win a national award like that. Because I'll point out Derek Stingley. I mean, Derek Stingley was the best cornerback in college football in 2019 as a true freshman. But in many instances, it takes a lot of time to build up that public awareness to be able to impact voters across the country. The one example I gave you was Ndamukong Suh in 2009. Ndamukong Suh, 2009, that Nebraska team against Texas in the Big 12 championship game. Ndamukong Suh had 12 tackles, 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. And on the backs of that game that everybody watched, ended up the Heisman runner-up. If Harold Perkins has that type of day against Georgia, maybe we see something like that. All right, we got Shannon Terry. Apologies for the miscommunication there. We're a little late getting to him. But Shannon Terry, founder, CEO of On3 Sports, good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. Shannon, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
I mean, it is our pleasure. I want to start, if I could, with how On3 started the process, or has gone about developing that NIL valuation.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about it. We've been working on it for about a year and a half, and I can give you a lot of details about it. But we're based in Nashville, Tennessee. There's just so many influencers here and celebrity types. And so when we started building this valuation, the first kind of foundation layer we did is we went out and we valued basically what a like, a follow, and an engagement was worth for all the social platforms. And so that we started when we launched the formula. About a year ago, it was heavily, social based. But since that initial launch, we've updated the formula many times, and now it includes a lot of different data points all around. We call it our Madden rating of PI. P for performance, I for influence, and E for exposure. And I can talk more about that, but we're real excited about what we're doing, and we think it's really accurate. Having a good idea of what the overall size of the market is.
What has been the general market reaction to your valuation?
I mean, the general market is that the athletes are using it, the collectives are using it, the coaches are using it, and when a big part of it, of the exposure part of it, has to do with we have a roster management algorithm where we basically bake in. What we think the collectives for each of the Power Fives are worth, or they've collected. We've got so many boots on the street. We have good intel on what that is. And when they see the numbers that we generate, they say, hey, that's pretty dead on. And so I think it's only something that's going to get better, and I think it's going to set the market. I think it's going to set the projected annual market or value for every athlete in high school and college sports.
It's pretty fascinating, Shannon, that you did take a stab at putting a monetary value to players. And I want to talk about Harold Perkins specifically in a second, but have you gotten feedback from schools about that as well, with the reactions being made from schools, administrators, conferences?
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken to everyone. Everyone wants to understand it. We've spoken with, all the different heads of the conferences, coaches, athletes. The first thing to understand is this. It is not what an athlete is collected in deals. It's their projected annual value. So over the course of the next 12 months, what we would project would be that athlete's share of the marketplace. Now, a lot of our partners, a lot of major media and people in the space have done research, a lot of agencies, and the NIL marketplace right now is somewhere around $500 to $700 million. We expect it, and it's expected to grow to over $4 billion over the next 4 to 5 years. And so, one of the check and balance on this is just extrapolating back from that overall market size, and applying it to the athletes, because obviously, the elite athletes, are the ones that are taking the market share of the dollars at this stage.
Shannon Terry's with us, founder, CEO of On3 Sports, on3.com. Of course, our guys here in the LSU market, guys like Shay and Billy do an awesome job. We always love having them on the show. Let's talk about Harold Perkins.
Yeah.
So I got the note about Perkins' NIL valuation doubling after the Bama game. How did you come to that number?
Well, his has a lot to do with the peak and, the performance aspect of it. We have a team of scouts that, as you know, we rank and rate high school athletes. We've done that for 26 years when we founded and ran Rivals and 24/7 Sports. We also do that, although it's hidden, we do that for college players as well. And so a big chunk of Harold's valuation increase, obviously, has come from his performance rating. We now, we have 32 5-stars in college. I'm not looking at the formula right now, but I think our staff rates him number 11 out in college sports. And so that obviously commands a very high value. The second thing you need to think of is he's playing winning football on a team that's getting tremendous exposure right now in LSU. So he's also benefiting from the fact that LSU is in the national discussion. They're on TV, and he's obviously the storyline. So he has, he's got 24% increase in social followers over the past 2 weeks. He's just a perfect storm right now, and that's if you combine all the high school and college athletes, he's in our top 50 overall. And there's some big time players in that list.
In the NIL 100, I'm looking at it right here. He's number 47 in the NIL 100, and his college football rank is 25. Last week after the Bama game, he was 30. I'm trying to do this off the top, 34 or 37. So in 2 weeks, do you know off the top where he was prior?
I'm looking at the graph below on his page. So on October the 11th, he was 363, and then on September 13th, he was 203.
Man.
But think about it. He is dominating college football right now on the biggest stage. And so, we know the size of the deals that the elite athletes, the Bryce Youngs, the Will Andersons, the C.J. Strouds are getting. And Harold's play, at a glory position, I don't even know what the heck position he plays, honestly. He goes and gets on every play, 4 sacks, the whole 9 yards. His sentiment, his search and social sentiment's through the roof. He has one of the most visible profiles in our database. Everyone wants to know who this young man is, and they're finding out. And brands are going to find out quickly as well.
Shannon, could you, and this is obviously very speculative, could you take a guess at what would happen if Harold continues on this trajectory over the next 2 games and then in the SEC championship game?
Well, just look at some of the, look at if you take some of these legacy outliers out, okay, take Bronny James, the Arch Mannings out of it, because their values are at a national level for different reasons than, their social and in some cases their performance. I mean, Arch is obviously a high school player. Then some of your largest names are your big, huge, many million social followers. Your Mikey Williams, the YouTuber, Livy Dunn, et cetera. So if you take those outliers out of it, then you're looking at the high-profile quarterbacks like Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams, those guys. Well, they're doing $2 and $3 million in deals this year. Okay, now we on our back end, this is the most important thing to note here. We take an athlete's value and we divide it into roster value and brand value. So think of it this way: Aaron Rodgers makes $25 million as a salaried contract quarterback, and he makes $100 million from his brand, doing national ads, whatever that mix is. We do the same. And so what happens is when some of these elite guys get on a national stage, they start getting national deals. And that's what you're going to see with Harold if he continues to play this well on that stage. And what you're looking at in that case is probably a $2 to $3 million, type valuation. So there's a lot of what ifs there. Can he sustain the level and the attention that he's received over the past few weeks? I don't know.
That is stunning. Shannon Terry is with us on Twitter at Shannon Terry, founder, CEO of On3 Sports, on3.com. If I could ask you, I'd also love to know about Kayshon Boutte and Jaden Daniels. Kayshon came into the season with tremendous hype. The on-field performance was slow to start. It's catching up. And then Jaden obviously has seen this sort of parabolic rise over the last month as well. What about those two guys?
Yeah, Boutte has stayed pretty steady despite the inconsistency, that he's had this season. And I think a lot of it had to do with probably where he was valued, in his team value. So I think if you look at his value of close to $900,000, $800,000, it's heavily based on his roster value. And if you lined up, and you tiered up all the roster on LSU, he'd be one of the top 2 or 3 kids. And I do not have the quarterback's value information in front of me, so I can't speak on that one. I apologize.
No, that's quite all right. It's fascinating because a lot of people ask the question, Shannon, about could potentially an NIL valuation lead to players deciding to come back to school for another year. Do you have? I'm sure you do, but do you have a thought on that?
Oh, 100%. If you're a fringe player, and and let's just say for example, you play a position where you're going to be a 3rd, 4th rounder, and you can improve your stock. There's now going to be enough money to come back, and I think you're going to see a lot of that happen here over the next couple of years. You're going to see, transfer portal December 5th is going to be hell on wheels. I mean, we're never going to see anything like what's about to happen.
Wow.
College sports when this thing opens up.
He is Shannon Terry, founder, CEO of On3, on3.com. Fascinating stuff there as it pertains to Harold Perkins' rise here over these last couple of weeks. You can follow him on Twitter at Shannon Terry. Get there, give him a follow. Shannon, we appreciate a couple of minutes, man. Thanks so much for the time.
Thanks for having me on. Anytime, guys. Thank you.
It is our pleasure. Good stuff there. All right, it is after further review. Because we were a little late getting Shannon on there, we kind of went a little long, so let me make up a break real quick. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar. Sports on TV. Tonight, you got Maction. Is it 1 or 2 Maction games tonight, Muse? 2 Maction. Oh, you double the Maction, double the fun. Are you kidding me? Get on by Pluckers. Our guy Hunt Palmer hosting sports trivia at 8:30 at the Nicholson location. So get on by Pluckers. You got the Pels at 6:30. You got 2 Maction games. You can bet on those games. You can play sports trivia, test your sports knowledge, win Pluckers gift cards. Every team gets to spin the prize wheel. So even if you don't win a round, you're guaranteed to win something. Maybe it's food from Pluckers or other swag and great prizes from great local businesses around the Baton Rouge area. It's at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Tuesday, kids eat free. Want to get out with the family tonight, eat, and have some fun affordably? You can do it at Pluckers. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like. Again and again and again. Mom got me the right care. The right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them. The right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody. I don't even have to ask Muse to give me Graff because we got Graff. Merry Christmas, Graff. How are you?
Merry Christmas, Matt. I am doing wonderful.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's definitely Christmas weather.
Beautiful Christmas morn. It feels like a little hot chocolate as you open up the presents right before you get to watch the Pellies play tonight. Yeah.
Yes. Snuggling in your beds. Warm up because it is chilly out there, man.
Pels, Graff, what am I supposed to make of this team right now at 7-6?
Good question. Just got to get more consistent. I think, they really haven't hit their stride yet. And you look at the records, you win the first two games, and then it's basically been win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Haven't won more than two in a row, haven't lost more than two in a row. So I think they just got to get their stride now. We've had a few games where you've had the starting lineup going back to about a week and a half ago We're going to find out about Zion later on, and I know you're going to ask me about that. We're going to find out in about 20 minutes what his status is for this game. He's listed as questionable on the injury report. But I just think that guys just need to continue to get used to playing with each other on the court. And we've seen some lapses, especially on the defensive end. The last two games, third quarters, have been very, very rough, going back to the Portland game on Thursday and even the Rockets game back on Saturday night. The third quarters have really, really been tough to watch, to be quite honest with you. So we'll just, again, it's still very early in the season. There's a lot of games left, and you just got to just be more consistent. That's really the main thing.
Zion, so here you go. I know it's the right ankle, sprain, foot, whatever it is. You got to feel like, does it look serious, sound serious?
Well, it happened early in the fourth quarter on Saturday night. He actually stepped on Usman Garuba's foot driving to the basket. Matt, he wound up playing. He never came out. He played really the rest of the ball game. Took him out with a minute to go when the game was in hand. So if it was bothering him that night, he didn't seem to notice. He was getting to the free throw line. He scored 7 more points. He grabbed a couple of rebounds while this had happened. So I would not call it a serious deal. If it was that serious, he wouldn't have played the rest of the game.
Okay.
So here's the thing though, Matt. We got a back-to-back. You're playing the Bulls tomorrow night here in the Smoothie King Center. So, I think they're going to err on the side of caution if he's not ready to go. You're going to need him in the next couple of ball games, Matt, with the Bulls tomorrow night, and then on Friday, the Boston Celtics come to town, who represented the Eastern Conference in the finals a year ago. So, the good news is, again, it did not appear to be that serious, and he wound up playing the rest of the fourth quarter after he had already, twisted that ankle.
Okay. Graff is with us. Pels tonight, 6:30. It is a national TV game on TNT, but we always encourage you to support the great local broadcast. Graff on radio, and of course, the local guys on TV do a great job as well. Let's talk a little bit about this game against Memphis. How did the Pels match up?
Well, the numbers match up pretty evenly. I mean, this is what I would call a hustle stats game. This is second chance points, points in the paint, fast break points, and both teams are very high up in the league averages. To me, Matt, this game is going to come down to who is going to rebound the other team's misses. These are two of the better teams in second chance points. Memphis is actually number 1 in second chance points. They have the best offensive rebounder in the league, and a former Pelican in Steven Adams, who actually broke the Memphis record for offensive rebounds a year ago. He has given the Pelicans fits since he has gone to Memphis, and Jonas Valanciunas. Basically, he and Jonas Valanciunas switched teams, but Adams has been a terror on the offensive boards. When Memphis misses a shot and you allow them to get the rebound again and put it back up and get second chance points, those are killers. Those are absolute killers. It's like third down conversions in football, if you want to equate it to something, especially if it's a third and long. You've got to rebound tonight. And the Pelicans are a very good rebounding team. So it's almost a strength on strength type of situation. And then, of course, you get John Morant, who did not play for Memphis in their 10-point loss back on Sunday against Washington. He's one of the most dynamic players in the NBA, 29 points a game. He loves to get to the rim. He loves to get out in transition. So defending him is going to be key as well. And maybe a big X factor tonight is they're going to get Jaren Jackson Jr. back, are the Memphis Grizzlies, who's missed the first 14 games of the season. He was rehabbing a foot from last year. He's going to come back, and he was a finalist for NBA Defensive Player of the Year. He broke the Memphis record in block shots, led the league in block shots a year ago. So that is a very big piece of their puzzle back for Memphis, who has not played at all this year, and he's coming back tonight.
Graf, there's not a lot that surprised me so far this year, but losing last week, and I'll grant you it was the second of a back-to-back, but losing to the Blazers at home as a double-digit favorite, no Dame, and losing by double digits was a bit jarring. What happened?
I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, Matt, and it's not something that, is going to be a popular opinion, but I firmly believe, and the way that the Pelicans played that night, they were so physically tired that it turned mental. And I'm just going to point to one statistic in that ball game. Points in the paint. The Pelicans, again, have been top 3 the entire season on points in the paint. They have gotten as high as 58 points in the paint a game. In that game, Matt, the Pelicans missed 22 shots in the paint, under 50%, 18 of 22, 30 points in the paint total when you average 58. And to me, that's dead legs. That's just being tired. You're making shots. You're missing shots that you're making with your eyes closed, night in and night out. And when a game comes down to it, that's part of the Pelicans' offense. When you're missing the shots that are really your bread and butter, then that tells me that fatigue was a big factor. People can take that with a grain of salt. I'm going to my grave with it. Sue me.
Look, Graff, it makes sense, man. I mean, you hate back-to-backs, and I often think that the travel is one of the least talked about, most important factors in an 82 game. I'd say the same for 162 in baseball. It's having to get those big dudes on a plane and playing in back-to-back nights, and it's a grind, man. That's why rest days matter, and I know fans don't love that, and the commissioner may not love it, but there's something to it. I mean, you'd have to look for an explanation as to why it played out the way it did. So let's hope the Pelicans can make it 2 in a row tonight. Of course, as you mentioned, they got a back-to-back. They'll play again tomorrow. Graff will be on the call tonight. We will look forward to our Christmas morning calls tomorrow of Graff. It's 6:30 tip. Go ahead.
Yes. I hope I can supply you with many, many Christmas.
I mean, you hope.
Greetings.
What are you talking about? You hope. What do you mean you hope? Just be you. It's like
I'm going to try my darndest, Matt.
You don't have to try. It's just you, man. That's why it's spectacular. People around it are like, "Give me Graff." I see people like, "Hey, give me Graff." They love it. What can I say? All right, Graff. Have a great call tonight, man. Thank you for the time.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, be well. 6:30 tonight. The Pels and the Grizzlies from the blender. It is a national TV game on TNT. We'll see about Zion's status. You heard Graff say we should find out in about 20 minutes or so with the ankle/foot injury. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. 29 offices across 11 different states. If you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells, services, rents the products you use to weigh and measure. Locally owned and operated. One of the things I love telling you about Michelli, when you walk in, you go to the Harahan office, you walk in the front door. You walk right in the front door, first door to the left, that's Joel's office. President, CEO Joel McMullen, and his door is always open. They're a huge company that has maintained local ownership, operated locally. They value people as they've continued to grow over 75 years. Give them my highest recommendation. They're an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory. They can do on-site calibrations. You can ship your equipment to them. They can save you time by coming and picking it up from you, bringing it back to their lab, calibrating it, and then return it to you. Things that with other companies might take you weeks will take days with Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Michelli.com. All right, Sean Salisbury in 30 minutes from right now. We missed Sean last week. That's a bit of a bummer. I want to get Sean's thoughts certainly on the Saints' decision that they have to make with Jameis and Andy Dalton. If you missed it, Dennis Allen on on his conference call on Monday did concede that they are considering starting Jameis Winston this week, as you'd expect. And we'll also talk to Sean about what went so terribly wrong for LSU up in Northwest Arkansas offensively on Saturday and how they put the pieces together here moving forward. He may have a thought as well on those Southern Cal Trojans and the thorn they may be on the CFP side if they manage to be a 12-1 Pac-12 champion. But still about 3 weeks of ball to play it out. All right, let me knock out a quick break, y'all. We'll come back. I do want to talk about some bowl projections as the CFP rankings are coming out tonight. Some updated bowl projections, which lay out what could be the worst-case scenario for LSU. I'll explain next.
AFR.
Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, expanding healthcare in Baton Rouge. Tell you all the time, of course, being part of that Mayo Clinic Care Network. What that allows is your local physician here in Baton Rouge to have clinical collaboration and access to some of the foremost physicians and one of the foremost medical centers in the world there at the Mayo Clinic. So at no extra cost to you, your physician here can work with the doctors, the specialists, the experts at the Mayo Clinic. That's what it means to be part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network in the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Has exclusivity that here in the greater Baton Rouge area. Learn more at brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. So many different medical products offered there through the Baton Rouge General. If it's the Pennington Cancer Center, of course, if it's the Regional Burn Center, and of course, the Advanced Robotics Institute. No better place to go for surgery than the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Learn more at brgeneral.org. Again, online at brgeneral.org.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I want to get some bowl projections here in just a quick second. Look, the Saints play the Rams this week, and there's actually, I hate to say it this way because it's not good news, but it's news that actually is probably going to benefit the Saints. Sean McVay on Cooper Kupp.
As it relates to Cooper Kupp, high ankle sprain, it is going to require surgery tomorrow, and so that will put him on IR as well.
McVay did also talk about how they replaced the star wide receiver.
What we've got to be able to do is say, all right, let's put our heads together. Let's figure out who we're playing with. You know, what do those guys do well? How do we make sure that the plan is in alignment with that and continue to try to really just pour into these guys and develop them and help them play to the best of their ability with an enjoyment and, you know, seeing if you can put them in positions to be able to enjoy the op, to be able to make some plays and go compete as well as they possibly can.
pretty desperate scenario for both teams. The Rams are 3-6. The Saints are 3-7. The Rams are basically buried in that division with the way San Fran is playing right now, even Seattle for that matter. But oddly, the Saints are a 4-point home favorite. I mean, it's bizarre to look at this Saints team with the struggles they've had and think that they could be a 4-point favorite over anyone. But that speaks to the struggles that the Rams have had. And now if you're going to take Cooper Kupp off the field and Matthew Stafford's questionable for the game, although I would suspect he'd play. Maybe this is one of those opportunities for the Saints to snag one. We went through it yesterday if you weren't here, but the Saints can win Sunday. I don't give them much of a chance the next 2 weeks. Going to the West Coast to Santa Clara to play the Niners, then going on the road to play the Bucs. They're home against the Falcons, which is a winnable game. The Falcons have certainly come back down to earth, and that's coming off the bye. I don't know that you can win in Cleveland or in Philly. Of course, Deshaun Watson will be back by the time you play in Cleveland, and Philly's the best team in football right now. And then you're home against the Panthers, which is a winnable game. So I think you got 3 winnable games left, and one of them is this week against the Rams. The other, home against the Falcons, home against the Panthers. You take care of business there, I think you can get to 6 wins this season, 6-11. We'll see where that lands you in the pecking order for the draft. But if you're going to make something of this season, this weekend is one where you might be able to go get one. All right, I'll get to these bowl projections. Want to remind you real quick about GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com, changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. Look, we all see what's going on with interest rates, but in so many instances, we are still looking at, from a historical sense, incredible rates. And for so many of us, it is still cheaper to own than it is to rent. So if you're having trouble keeping up with rent, why continue to pay somebody else? Pay yourself. Own your own home. Build equity. Build wealth. Let GMFS Mortgage can help you out. If you're worried about a down payment, they have some zero down options. Just get in touch with the local loan officer and let them help you. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFSmortgage.com, Louisiana's #1 local lender. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. All right, USA Today put out their bowl projections, and there's a lot of different ones, by the way. For what it's worth, Brett McMurphy over at Action Sports is projecting LSU to play Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl, which would be fascinating if it played out that way. The worst-case scenario, however, as it might be, is what USA Today is projecting. And USA Today puts out their bowl projections every week. And I'll remind you that the way that the SEC's bowl tie-ins work, the highest-rated team in the college football playoff rankings, in the CFP rankings, not in the playoff. The highest-ranked SEC team not in the playoff goes to the Sugar Bowl. The Orange Bowl has a tie-in with the SEC, so it's ACC versus Big Ten, SEC, or Notre Dame. Well, Ohio State and Michigan, winner's going to be in the playoff, loser's going to go to the Rose Bowl. There's no other Big Ten team that's going to warrant that consideration for the Orange, and Notre Dame is not going to warrant consideration for the Orange Bowl. So it's going to be an SEC team in the Orange Bowl. And the worst-case scenario would be if Tennessee gets left out of the playoff and Alabama is ranked ahead of LSU, like if LSU loses to Georgia, because then this is what would transpire. And that's basically what USA Today is projecting. They're projecting a Georgia-Clemson semifinal, an Ohio State-TCU semifinal, which puts Tennessee in the Sugar Bowl as the highest-ranked SEC team not in the playoff, and then Alabama in the Orange Bowl. Alabama in the Orange Bowl is basically saying that 2-loss Alabama would be ranked ahead of LSU should LSU lose to Georgia in the SEC championship game, and that would knock LSU to the Citrus Bowl. And they're projecting LSU to play Iowa January 2nd in the Citrus Bowl. That would be a terrible scenario. In that situation, if you're LSU and you don't make the college football playoff, you really, 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 really want 2 SEC teams in the playoff. you want Georgia and Tennessee to get in. If you're not in, you want Georgia and Tennessee in. Because that means essentially Bama and LSU in some order will go to either the sugar or the orange. The worst case would be you lose the SEC championship game. Tennessee doesn't get in the playoff. Tennessee goes sugar. Bama goes orange. LSU goes citrus, which is a real possibility. So just something worth keeping an eye on as we get closer to know what you're cheering for. What you are cheering for is you most definitely want Clemson to lose again, to be a 2-loss. You want a 2-loss ACC champ, and you want Southern Cal to lose. And you want a 2-loss Pac-12 champ. Because what all that will do is even if LSU doesn't beat Georgia, if LSU beats Georgia, that clears a path. But even if LSU doesn't beat Georgia, that opens up another opportunity for a team like Tennessee to get in, which would create a better path for a bowl game for LSU. So it's very simple. You want LSU to win out, and you want Clemson to lose, and you want Southern Cal to lose, if I can make it as simple as possible. All right. It's after further review. Muse is going to have Tigers in the pros. Sean Salisbury's coming up in 15 minutes. We're glad to have you aboard with us here on a jam-packed edition of AFR. We'll talk with Sean and also have Otter Locks coming up next hour as you got a full slate of NBA and 2 MACtion games. So Otter Locks to wrap up the show every day. We're brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana, and glad you're hanging out on AFR.
AFR.
Did you know that next Thursday is Thanksgiving? Like 9 days away. I completely lost track of that. Rouse's can help if you lost track as well, or if you just don't feel like doing the cooking. Rouse's can take care of your entire holiday meal. Go to rouses.com, download the Rouse's app. You'll see it right there on the home screen. You can leave the fuss of your entire holiday dinner to Rouse's. Just go to the website. You can tap the home screen there, and you can see about them catering your Thanksgiving meal. From the turkey, the ham, the dressing, all the sides that you want, they got plenty of them. And you can build your own Thanksgiving meal, even the dessert, right there at Rouse's. Let them cook everything for you. You grab it, heat it, serve it. It's at Rouse's. The official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Learn more right now. Download that holiday dinner order form at rouses.com. Rouses.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm Chris Nakamoto. Here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A former high school football player shot in Virginia in a mass shooting Sunday had a second successful surgery. His mother telling WBRZ he's doing great after getting shot in the back. More on what she had to say tonight about the road to recovery and the challenges ahead. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Thanks to Peter Burns, who's here in Hour 1. Shannon Terry, founder and CEO of On3, was with us earlier this hour talking about Harold Perkins' NIL valuation. Really fascinating convo. If you missed it, highly recommend you go check that out on demand at 1045ESPN.com or on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. Graff was with us just a bit ago and said we were expecting a decision soon from Willie Green on Zion, and we now have that decision. This just in from the New Orleans Pelicans. Willie Green says Zion is out tonight against Memphis. So no Zion tonight for the Pellies against Memphis. Stings. You'd love to have your superstar out there, especially on a national game on TNT. But Pels and Grizzlies tonight, TNT, 6:30 Central. So we're a little less than 2 hours away from tip of that game, but no Zion for the ball game tonight. All right, it's after further review. Sean Salisbury in about 10 minutes from right now. Right now, though, Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Let's check in on some NBA action from last night.
Let's do that.
Just one former Tiger in action. That was Tari Eason. Another solid night off the bench for the rookie. 15 minutes, shot 4 of 7 from the floor, was 1 of 3 from downtown. All in all, 9 points for Tari. He would add 3 rebounds and 2 steals. The Rockets, however, would lose 122-106 to the Clippers. But Tari Eason mentioned solid year so far in rookie, averaging 8 and 4 so far and played in 10 games. So really valuable minutes early in his career for Tari Eason. NBA action.
And they stink. And they stink.
Yeah, I mean, they're not good at all. They're actually quite bad. Quite bad. NBA action set for tonight. You got a couple games featuring former Tigers. The San Antonio Spurs, they'll head up to Portland, Oregon, face the Trailblazers. Could see some Trendon Watford in that game for Portland. He's been seeing more time on the floor as of late. And then the late one that follows Pelicans Grizzlies is Brooklyn Nets traveling cross country to face the Sacramento Kings. Cam Thomas, of course, but we do have an update on Ben Simmons. Finally, he looks like he will return to action tonight, or at least he's been upgraded to available. Ben has been dealing with a knee.
A knee.
Yeah.
He's
and there's
got a
also
knee?
been trade rumors and all of that, but
Ben's got a knee.
He's got a knee.
Bring him home.
No.
Yes.
No.
Bring him home. Yes.
No.
Bring him
We're
home.
not going to disrupt the good mojo that the Pelicans have going.
Or maybe he would be very good and thrive in that ecosystem of a good locker room. That's not the disaster that was Philly and now is New Jersey. With Kevin Durant begging to get out, but they couldn't find a trade partner. Now Kyrie is doing whatever it is that Kyrie's doing. Yes.
No one knows what Kyrie's doing.
Ben's a good player, and I don't need him to score.
Well,
defend.
You're in luck there.
Bingo. Defend, rebound, dribble. Yes.
We'll see what happens with him tonight.
Affect passing lanes. Be a good player. He's a good player.
He's got to be on the floor.
I don't need offense. I don't need offense.
He's got to be on the floor, though.
Yes.
Being on the floor has been a problem for him for the last year and some change now.
Yes.
That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com. Gentlemen, if you are thinking of popping the question, we are nearing the holidays. Of course, this is a very popular time for those of you who might want to get down on bended knee and present the love of your life with that beautiful diamond. And nowhere else will give you the selection, the great customer service, the great price than Lee Michaels, LMFJ.com. That's why Baton Rouge has gone to Lee Michaels for more than 40 years to get engaged. LMFJ.com. That's LMFJ.com. If you need to learn about shape and setting and style and cut and all of that stuff and have a beautiful diamond that is going to sparkle and thrill her and stay within your budget and know that people truly care about you, it's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, 9 locations in all. You can learn more at LMFJ.com. That's LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, it's after further review. SportsCenter's coming up here. We get you caught up on national headlines here at the top of the hour. Sean Salisbury is going to join us after SportsCenter, and we will circle back as well to what to watch for the college football playoff rankings tonight, and more on Saints-Rams coming up this weekend. If you missed it, Cooper Kupp is going to IR. He will need ankle surgery, so a little bit of a boost there for New Orleans. They're going to host the Rams, but the real question is, for New Orleans, is Jameis Winston going to retake the starting quarterback job? How healthy is he, and can he function within this offense? Saints have some questions to answer, and 7 games to do it. SportsCenter's next.
AFR.
Love telling you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador, Caffrey, and Lafayette. Online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Last Thursday was Christmas in November in Baton Rouge. This Thursday, Christmas in November for the Lafayette office. So if you're watching or listening in Lafayette, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana office there on Ambassador Caffrey. 1 day only, best sales of the year, catered, wine, beer, champagne, great deals, great specials. Lafayette office this Thursday, 1 day only, best sales and specials of the year at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. But look, if you want to look and feel like your younger self, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. If you wake up sluggish, you have trouble sleeping through the night, you don't have the motivation to get in the gym, or have trouble losing weight and gaining muscle, maybe HRT is the answer. Learn more online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them. because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert will probably miss extended time with a left shoulder injury from last night's loss against the Commanders. Now that the Eagles have their first loss, who's the best team in the NFL? ESPN's Keyshawn Johnson.
Is Kansas City the number one team in the NFL? Right now they are, but they can very easily get popped, just like Indianapolis popped them several weeks ago. It could happen. I don't know that it will. This is a very explosive football team.
Keyshawn Johnson on KJ and Max. Rams wideout Cooper Kupp will go on IR. He'll be out at least 4 weeks after right ankle surgery. ESPN's Jesse Rogers reports the Yankees will re-sign first baseman Anthony Rizzo to a 3-year contract worth $40 million guaranteed. The third year is a team option. And our Jeff Passan reports lefty Tyler Anderson will leave the Dodgers and sign a 3-year deal with the Angels worth around $39 million. Nets guard Kyrie Irving will serve the 7th game of his team-imposed suspension tonight against the Kings.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. And welcome to everybody watching us on WBTR. That's Cable 19 in Baton Rouge, Rev 144. And if you are a cord cutter on the antenna, 36.1. So we appreciate our relationship with the folks over at WBRZ, who have now given us yet another way for you to watch AFR every single day. Again, on WBTR in Baton Rouge, Cable Channel 19 on Cox. Every Tuesday, we visit with Sean Salisbury. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Love talking ball with Sean, who joins us now. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. What a weekend in a lot of different ways, huh? And,
yeah.
A lot of debate college, and there's debate there at the quarterback position NFL-wise. So good to be on with you,
brother. Let me start. I want to get to the Saints and Jameis in the next segment. Let me start with that with LSU, and we'll talk about the game and then carry it into the debate that's going on around college football. But LSU really struggled offensively against Arkansas, and Brian Kelly said, "Look, we've seen 3-man fronts before." And basically what you saw was Arkansas drop 8, rush 3, largely. But, man, they brought a lot of pressure, and LSU didn't handle it well. Any reason for that you maybe noticed in that game?
You know what? It was didn't you expect after the week before and what's gone on and what they've been through. And you and I didn't get to talk about that because I know the scheduling and stuff this past week. But I expected it to be a close game. I did. I expected it to be a kind of an ugly win. And I don't know why you go into a game and 1 week you handle pressure, because look at the other side. They couldn't block Perkins either. So they're feeling a lot worse than LSU is. I'll tell you why I like games like this. I know Brian Kelly, and by the way, Brian Kelly can coach his ass off.
I know, right?
Well, we can get to that. This dude, think where they were a month into the season and where they are now. But neither here nor there until they have to finish this thing up. But go in there. You're playing Arkansas is always physical. They always get after it up front. They always have some people that can move you around. And for whatever reason, it didn't go smooth. They did not handle pressure. They dropped back to throw it a handful of times. I think he was 15 attempts is what it ended up in. But sometimes I've been in games where you say we should dominate them. I've watched them and played in them. And then next thing you know, you're like, what is wrong? What's wrong there? Why am I not, putting my foot in the ground, or what's the escapability? All those things come into play. I don't know if the three-man front bothered them. They've seen it before. But Arkansas did a nice job of not giving up a ton of home runs and staying in it and playing physical and stayed in the game with a big play themselves. So, but I love games like this. I'm going to tell you why. I find out a lot about a team. I do far more in this one. And I found out a lot about LSU going into having to play in some of these games because I'm a big battle-tested guy. I didn't think Arkansas was going to be easy, and I don't know why we would. They're well coached. They looked like they had energy. And, of course, LSU is going to get their best. Why? Because now LSU is in a national championship hunt. So I thought it would be an ugly win. I thought there'd be a little more cushion, but they held on, which tells me that they had to win a different way this week. They ran it pretty damn well. They're going to have to obviously get back to making those big plays in the passing game, which we've seen them now start to make. So I like the way they ran the football. They'll have to deal with it because what happens is, Maddie, is as a coach now, you go in and you watch tape and you say, okay, now we can change up, because by the time one of these really good teams runs into them again, or even they play A&M soon, right? Next week?
Next week,
right?
Yeah.
Right, A&M. Even though A&M's bad, we'll look at the tape and say, well, here's what Arkansas did. Let's see if we can generate the same thing and maybe force a couple extra turnovers and stay in this thing. And I do believe the game's in College Station, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct? Yeah, there you go. So they'll try. That's sneaky just because they've got nothing to lose other than trying to protect their coach from getting a heave-ho and being the most underwhelming team in college football right now in A&M. So I expected it to be a closer game at Arkansas. I did, and they gutted it out. And I find out a lot about a team's guts when they go through that. And emotionally, I figured this was probably going to happen. But keep an eye on the tape of future opponents and how they approach what Arkansas did to slow them down a little bit on the pressure part of the game.
Sean, if you're a quarterback, so one of the things we've seen Jaden Daniels do exceptionally well this year is when teams have made that decision, right? They're going to play. They're going to play coverage. They're going to go to dime. Well, that's left rushing lanes for Jaden Daniels. He just couldn't get to the edge against Arkansas. So
right.
Is it one of those? So if you are LSU, if you're Mike Denbrock and you're game planning for that in the future, how do you start to plan against that?
Here's the deal. First off, on the escape part, sometimes the other guy who's on scholarship too is going to win. Yeah. It's not like they were playing, Slippery Rock. No disrespect to Slippery Rock. Arkansas is pretty good, and you could the thing that Arkansas did extremely well, and Matty, you hit on it, but they were disciplined, right? What happens is you're afraid of guys getting like Jaden getting in run lanes. So what do? You get undisciplined and get out of keep your outside arm free so he can't break contain. So you say, it's called the hero syndrome. Let me go get the guy. I've watched him on tape. He's killing people with his arm and his legs. So let me go be the hero. And what's he do? Dips inside, boom, gets the edge, and now you're hosed. Because now he's in space and he can throw and he can run and he can get you. And then when you're keeping in lanes, important because he's dominated those types of plays. But when he can break contain, these guys that are east and west escape guys, they'll climb, but that they can do that and beat you that way, defenses cannot stand that. So you've got to be disciplined against them. And it's risky at that part as well, because if he can get up inside, there's also lanes. But here's why playing against like dropping 8 or dropping 7 if they're rushing 3 becomes a problem. Is because quarterbacks and young quarterbacks, and all college quarterbacks are young, I've always said this. Give me a young quarterback against man coverage, pressure, blitz, to where I say, dude, catch the ball in the gun, throw a quick fade, quick slant, get it out of your hand. It's a one-person read. Once we know who to go to, ball comes out. When you have coverage and it's not in rhythm where you go curl, flat, check down, or dig, flat route to sail route to shallow cross to sit down to pivot, whatever it is, that you're getting through your progressions, the patience that comes in. And what is Jaden really good at? Quick twitch, man. He's sudden. And when he got sudden, you always rely on that. We all do. I relied on my arm to throw it into windows that weren't there. It got me in trouble. And so, but it also bailed me out at times because of something I couldn't do. So if I was playing against a team that had a guy that could kill me with good receivers that can escape right now and man pressure that they could protect it, he could get it out and knew who was coming, I would play coverage as well. I wouldn't play him overly aggressive. I would play him passive aggressive to make sure that he had to hesitate on the run where he doesn't get a clean break. And I would also force him to go 1, 2, 3, because I'd rather live with him going 18 to 25 for $168 and a touchdown on all underneath stuff than blitz him. He hits a home run, 80-yard touchdown, breaks our back. Now we go back to playing coverage, and now they can boom, 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 and before you know it, we get impatient on defense, and now we pressure again, and he kills us again. And if we miss him on the first sack, he's got good enough athletic ability to escape. I've always believed with young quarterbacks, when in doubt, now there's a time and a place in red zone and backed up where you try to blitz a fourth guy off the boundary corner and boom, hit him in the back. I get that. I'm just talking about base. I always want young quarterbacks or guys in a new system, which this is still new. It's 1 year. I always want young quarterbacks to have to go through coverage, college or NFL, because they get impatient. That built-in time clock starts to wear out, and maybe they bail too early and don't get through the progressions.
Yeah, it's so interesting. The as you mentioned, sort of the one read throw, just the quick throw.
Yep.
It just seemed to be so absent on Saturday to
It
combat
was.
that pressure.
They didn't hit that home run. That's right. And, whether it's being physical at the line of scrimmage, the goal when you have that, Matty, when you're playing a defense that, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but just to further this point, is that when you're a corner or a linebacker or you're walked out and you're playing dime package, or if it's a big guy playing on a small, whatever it is, you want to take them off their mark so they don't get that rhythm throw, right? That's the whole key. Make them hold it a little longer, then we can pressure him and hit him when he's throwing and we get a cheap pick or what have you. The problem is if you let guys get off clean and blitz, the ball's out. The ball's out. When you're playing zone and mixing in pressures, like even zone blitz or mixing them in, now heads everywhere, head on a swivel, and you get to the point where impatient, you try to force a big play. The guy you had there in New Orleans his whole career in the NFL, patient you to death, and instead of you getting impatient as an offense, he did it enough where they forced the other defense to say, enough of this. He's killing us by dropping 8. He's getting through his progressions. He's a veteran. Now we'll blitz him. And then what they do, boom, 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 Michael Thomas separates. Drew knows where to throw it. Yeah. One-step catch, release on a fade route, turns it into a 65, 75-yard touchdown. So, yeah, it goes varies. If you're going to blitz, you better have guys that can take you off your mark on the edge, those corners, because if they get a free release and the quarterback knows it's pressure, you're hosed. You're counting on them to hold up just a second so he can get out there and get rid of the ball. But zone, a lot of times, if you can prevent him from break and contain, make them get through their reads, that always helps on a young player.
He's Sean Salisbury on Twitter, at Sean Unfiltered. Sean, let me not going to break. I'm going to come back, and I do want to ask you about, I want to ask a follow-up about what we're going to see with these rankings tonight and what you think the 4 would or should or will be. We'll get to that. I also got to ask Sean's opinion on what's going on in New Orleans. Sounds like Jameis may get another opportunity to pilot this Saints offense. We'll continue with Sean Salisbury on AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
Commercial or residential, buying or selling. If you need a realtor, you need Darren James. Do you realize 75% of homes listed for sale by owners? 75. Eventually hire a realtor. Don't try to do it yourself. Pricing, getting a list of buyers to come through your home, being there for showings, all the paperwork, all the things that maybe you're not an expert at. That's why you need Darren James. Another 5-star review. This one came in that said he's very detailed, outlining procedures, impeccable. Darren helps sellers with issues that they have helped solve in a timely manner. Would recommend Darren and his service to anyone that wants to complete the selling process in a timely manner. 335-7666. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Corville Toyota in Opelousas, we're happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corville Toyota and pick out your new Toyota today. That's Corville Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We continue with Sean Salisbury on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Good enough to join us every single Tuesday here for a couple of segments, talk some ball. We'll get to the Saints decision with Jameis here in a second. Sean, in less than an hour from right now, they'll unveil the new college football playoff rankings. We're expecting no change in the top four. My question that I've been posing, and I'm curious your thoughts, let's assume you have an undefeated Big Ten champion and an undefeated TCU. If LSU, let's say Georgia beats LSU, they would be in. Who gets the other spot?
If Georgia beats LSU in the SEC title game and the Big Ten undefeated, Michigan or Ohio State, whatever one's undefeated, and TCU remains undefeated, those three are all in.
Yes.
Then it comes down to this. It comes down – the three-loss LSU team's out, obviously. Alabama is out, obviously. Then it would come down to a one-loss Ohio State team, depending on how bad that loss was. It would come down to a USC and listen, USC probably wanted Oregon to win, and I'm going to tell you last week, because if they get to the Pac-12 championship game and you play them, it just bodes well for a team that's won like 11 in a row for the Trojans, right?
Right.
Trojans would be in it even if they go win one loss. They lost to Utah. So it'd be them, a one-loss Ohio State team, and then Tennessee. And my gut would tell me that the loser of the Big Ten is out, because there has been, especially if it's Ohio State, there's been some struggles. That the loss to Georgia by Tennessee is far more impressive than USC getting beat by Utah, even though both were on the road. And the fair-haired, like the people kind of love this year, the team to love has been Tennessee. It would be Tennessee, Michigan or Ohio State, TCU, and Georgia. The interesting conversation is if LSU beats Georgia.
Okay, so that's
Georgia.
Yeah, that's
Georgia's
my next question.
Still in, right?
Okay,
yeah.
so you think Georgia's in?
Oh, if Georgia gets beat with one loss, I think unless Georgia loses between now and then, if Georgia has one loss, you ain't putting Tennessee in ahead of them.
Right.
I can guarantee you that, because they beat them, and Georgia's the reigning national title just on pure emotion alone. Listen, they say, well, when the computers aren't involved, they do have it's the eye test. It's all whatever their full criteria is supposed to be. If Georgia gets beat 21-17 by LSU, both are going. Now, I've had people this week come to me, you're not putting a two-loss team in even if LSU wins, if Tennessee's sitting out with one loss, and they hammered LSU in their building, and there was a better win or a better loss for Tennessee. Argument, debate, I guess, but if LSU can beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, I personally don't think there's a way Georgia, unless they got beat 51-10, which will not happen. If Georgia just loses in the SEC title game, I don't think there's a way, because one loss Michigan or Ohio State are not going ahead of Georgia. They're not going to put USC with one loss ahead of Georgia. We know even TCU undefeated, I would think, is not better than Georgia, but they're going. The debate comes down to this. The biggest problem is going to be SC runs the table. TCU runs the table. Michigan or Ohio State win, and it's a 31-28 buzzer beater. LSU beats Georgia, and Tennessee goes undefeated the rest of the way. Now what? Is Tennessee have an argument? That's what we all hope. Does Tennessee have an argument that, hey, well, wait a minute. We got one loss. LSU's got two, but LSU's been on a roll. They just beat the favored national title team who's wearing the ring and the number one seed in the country. And so Georgia's got that, but LSU beat them in basically – that game's in Atlanta, right?
Oh, yeah.
In Atlanta. So it's semi-home game for them for the most part. So then the argument ensues. Would you have the guts to go TCU, Michigan or Ohio State winner, the SC one-loss Georgia after losing to LSU and take them out and put Tennessee in? I'm going to tell you, because I don't know how you keep an SEC champion out of it. I just don't.
Okay.
And it all gets settled if TCU loses and Georgia doesn't get beat by LSU and Tennessee runs the table. Then it'll settle itself. But we are in for one hell of a debate. If this goes the way I believe it's going to go, and we're staring at Georgia and LSU with Tennessee sitting at one loss and Georgia and LSU sitting there ready to play in Atlanta, and if LSU were to win that, you imagine being how are you going to tell LSU to go home with two losses? How are you going to tell them that?
LSU is the chaos theory, but Sean, I'll share this, and this is the thing I've said to this audience a lot. The precedent is 2016. You had a two-loss Big Ten champion Penn State that beat Ohio State in the regular season.
Yep.
And the committee put one-loss Ohio State, who didn't even play in the Big Ten championship game, put one-loss Ohio State in the playoff and sent Penn State to the Rose Bowl. So there's precedent for it.
Yep, and my fear for that, and wasn't that the one where Darnold threw 5 touchdowns and had a monster game? Wasn't that against Southern Cal in the Rose Bowl? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, phenomenal. It was one of the great football games. It was phenomenal performance by both teams. It was back and forth in quarterback play. But, what's interesting, Matt, is that's exactly right. It has been said. Now the question, let me ask you this. I know you want to hit the Saints, but I got to ask this. What if Georgia just has one of those days and LSU beats them 31-10?
I'd be thrilled. I do think. Hey, Sean. This is the one big difference between 2016 and with the scenario you unfolded. Penn State in that Big Ten championship game beat Wisconsin, who I think was unranked.
Right. Which wasn't an impressive win, even though it was Wisconsin.
I think it was 38-31, maybe.
Yeah, they had to squeak it out. It was a close game. I remember that.
Yeah.
But I don't think if Wisconsin was ranked, they were ranked really. They were not they weren't hovering towards the national title. Okay, they were ranked lower if they were ranked. You're exactly right.
And so there's a big difference between beating Wisconsin and beating.
Oh yeah, you think?
Forgive me. No, I'm looking at it right now. Now was ranked 6th.
Oh, they were? I was with you. I thought Wisconsin.
They were 9-3.
Got in on their side. That's right. That's right. Now that you mention it, because that was the same year, like you said. And for some reason, I thought they were outside the top. When I say ranked, I'm talking about top 10, right? I'm talking when I was thinking top. When it gets that late in the season, I'm talking about. If you're not in the top 10, then okay, you're 15th grade. We'll deal with it in the off season. I thought they were outside of it, those losses. And that they were on the side of their bracket that was like, wasn't overly impressive, but they're physical. They can run the football. But they were ranked 6th. Okay. See, I don't have it in front of me. I thought they were outside. Didn't you said they had 3 losses, right?
Their only 2 losses were to Michigan and Ohio State.
Oh, okay. Well, that holds a little bit of water.
Yeah, and remember they beat LSU in Lambeau. That was the year Wisconsin beat LSU in Lambeau to start the season. So anyway, I guess my point is you're talking about a Wisconsin team whose only losses were to number 2 Ohio State, number 4 Michigan. They lost by a touchdown to Penn State. So that's a pretty good. It's still a good win for Penn State, and they got
aced out, right?
I mean, there's I'm uneasy. I hear you, and I hear everybody saying there's no way they leave the SEC champ out. I'm here to tell you, man. How do you look at Tennessee in the eye and say, we know you went 11-1. Your only loss was on the road to number 1 Georgia, and you pounded LSU in Baton Rouge, but sorry.
Now, let me ask you this. Is there a chance, a little outlier real quick, what if LSU's impressive and beats Georgia? And you go LSU, Tennessee, winner of Michigan, Ohio State, and TCU.
How do you?
What if they decided that Georgia's one loss? There's times they struggled a little bit. I don't know. I'm trying to create another scenario. That's why I believe no matter what Georgia does in that game, they're going.
I agree.
But can you imagine though if they left them out, went one? Then your answer is going to be this. Well, didn't Tennessee go to Georgia and get beat up?
Yep.
That's exactly right. So that's another one. Here's my fear: is that LSU goes in and wins. I'm talking about for LSU fans. And Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State winner, TCU, and Tennessee go, and that you know LSU. And I'm not disrespecting TCU in the way they played, but there's a part of me that feels like it'd be Notre Dame in the Final Four where they just get, or Cincinnati where they get boat raced, right? Yeah. That would be my concern. Yet Sonny Dykes got them playing well, so hey, all you can do is post your score like at Augusta and hope that somebody falls out of it and lays an egg to Tennessee if you're a LSU fan. But we're headed for a quandary here and a problem. But I just don't see how Georgia's going to get left out. Hell, I don't understand the committee at times anyway. So we'll see.
You know what could solve all of this?
What's that? More teams?
A playoff that actually solves all this stupid stuff on the field instead of you and me talking about it. Like, let's go play games. I got an idea. Let's go play games and let these teams decide on the field.
Yes. Wouldn't that be nice? Isn't that logical instead of a computer or me and you sitting pontificating over what if? I don't want it to solve itself before then. I want it to go into that where they got to sit there and say, ooh, we could quit. And SC with one loss is pissed. And they say, well, if you beat Utah, you're not getting in, dude. Sorry. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that conversation, my man.
Sean Salisbury is with us. Before you go, let me ask, Andy Dalton has been terrible the past 2 weeks, and quite honestly, 4 of the last 5 weeks he's been really bad, turning the football over. Is it time to go back to Jameis?
Yes, Matty, it is. We had this conversation about 3 weeks ago about we already know who Andy Dalton is. He's a veteran, good to have on your team, backup quarterback, spot starter, great when somebody goes down. He can get on a little bit of a run. He's not your future. He's not your franchise guy. He's now just going to hang around the league and do what Fitz did for a couple years and hang around and do his thing. And he's a good player. He's not a franchise changer. Jameis, I think we kind of know what he is too, but he's going to get another run at the last. In my opinion, he should. Let's see what you're going to post up with now, man. Are you? Who are you? Because I told you this 2 weeks ago. I don't believe the future quarterback that's going to start for them probably in 2023, unless you keep one around to bridge the gap from either or go get a veteran. Are they going to trade Derek Carr? Is Aaron Rodgers back in the mix after this year? Who is it or what is it? I don't think either one's going to be your franchise. I know one's not.
Yeah.
And I don't think Jameis is either, or they would have already played him. I know who Andy Dalton is. I don't think either one are taking you to the playoffs after what I've seen recently. I only think one team from the South's going, and it's going to be Tampa Bay, like I've been saying. Mm-hmm. But you got to go back to Jameis. He just gives you a better chance throwing the football.
Is Dennis Allen one and done in New Orleans?
I would hope not. I'd like to see what he does. But you know what? I mean, when I say hope not, I guess my affinity for can we at least give him 2 years to see if we see evidence in 2 years. But if you local see enough evidence that says the team is not responding to him, like we're seeing in certain cities. Hell, we could have 2 or 3 one and dones, like in Denver or possibly at the Raiders, even though they say they're not. It's Mark Davis. Who knows? But I don't know what the local buzz is about him.
Oh, everybody's ready to move on already.
Okay. Oh, they want Sean. They want Sean Payton back. It's hard after 8 or 9 games, and what they had before 8 or 9 games is hard to say. We got to get him out. But if the team's not responding, could he be? Oh yeah. I think it's really viable that it could happen. I just hate that for coaches, but I know that's the nature of the business. That's why they get paid the big money. There's going to be a lot of changes in New Orleans, and coach maybe, quarterback I think for sure. I don't think the either guy that's going to start your 2023 season's on the roster right now.
You all saw that in Houston last year, a one and done coach.
We did, and you know what? Even though it's bad optics to do it 2 years in a row, they're 1-7-1 and not getting better. And a defensive coach has got the worst tackling defense in the NFL. If you're going to draft a quarterback in the first 2 picks, I would think you'd want to move ahead completely with everything. Hell, I'd pay Sean Payton $15 million to say, come take this job. I'd make it impossible for him to turn it down. But Sean's going to have whatever decision he wants to make. But, yeah, we may see more than one of those, and it may happen a second time here if Lovey doesn't show signs of improvement next year, regardless of the optics of back-to-back one-and-done coaches.
He's Sean Salisbury on Twitter, at Sean Unfiltered. Follow him there. You can get all of his content all over the place. He's the best. He's with us every Tuesday. Sean, we appreciate you, man. Talk next week.
Love the conversation. You and I are the committee, brother. Let's go. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, dude. We'll see you. That's Sean Salisbury, brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices. You know where to find them, ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. Highly, highly encourage you, if you're going to shop for tires, start at Shaw Bills, go to the website. You can see the promotions tab right there at the top. You can see all the deals that they have right now on tires. And we're talking about Michelin, Firestone, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, name brand tires, the best tires on the road for the cheapest price possible. Look at all the current promotions that they have at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service. Name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they treat you like family. It's Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, thanks to Sean for being with us there. Always love the convo. But you know what? Let me do this. When we come back, there is this question about the one-and-done coach, and I want to reiterate now what we said yesterday. I'm not calling for Dennis Allen to be fired. What I am saying is he's got 7 games to prove he deserves another year, because every decision to this point that he's made has shown he is not capable of leading this team, this franchise, to wins. And he has, in my opinion, mismanaged how he has handled the quarterback situation, certainly publicly and on the field. Roster decisions have gone wrong. They are what Sean just said about, you got Lovie Smith, who's a defensive coordinator. You got a poor tackling team. Look at the Saints. You continue to have poor tackling issues, and you continue to have missed assignments. And I understand all the injuries. You had all of those a year ago with Sean Payton there, and you won 9 games with 4 different quarterbacks. So I don't want to hear the excuses. The regression that this franchise has made in 1 year is stunning, and there's one place to look. So, yeah, I think there's a very real scenario where if over the next 7 games, Dennis Allen doesn't show marked improvement with this franchise, that he will be a one and done. Yeah, I think that's a very real possibility. All right, quick break. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
My goodness, if you missed the news yesterday, I told you, they have already got Christmas trees at Clegg's Nursery. Unloaded them over the weekend. They are there on the lot. Any of the Clegg's locations. Segan Air Airline, LA 16 in Dedham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I get it, y'all. Thanksgiving ain't until next Thursday. But they are already in full-blown Christmas mode over at Clegg's. Not only Christmas trees, but Christmas decor. I've told you, our family tradition, which I absolutely love, is, of course, we have Thanksgiving, and then on Black Friday, Erica and I, we wake up, we get Drew up, we get our coffee, and we go over to Clegg's, the Segan Clegg's, and we pick out our Christmas tree, we bring it home. I come to work, and Erica decorates the tree in the house, and I get home to a winter wonderland. So we'll be doing that a week from Friday, but you can go pick out your tree now, all of the Christmas decor. Of course, the Poinsettia open house is coming up as well. It's almost that time, y'all, at Clegg's Nursery.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
And this came up last year because of Urban Meyer. One and done coaches. Unfortunately, it's a pretty extensive list, actually. This is since 1994. Pete Carroll with the Jets in '94 was one and done. Actually, Paulie, I'll pull this up for you if you want to show it. This is your list since 1994. Pete Carroll was one and done with the Jets. Joe Bugle was one and done with the Raiders in 1997, 4-12. Ray Rhodes with the Packers was one and done in 1999. I forgot about that. Al Groh was one and done with the Jets in 2000. They went 9-7. Marty Schottenheimer. God, I forgot Marty Schottenheimer coached the Redskins. He was 8-8 one year in Washington. Art Shell, in his second stint with the Raiders, was a one and done. He just coached 2006 and went 2-14, and they booted him. Cam Cameron, infamously one and done with the Dolphins in 2007. He followed Nick Saban there in Miami. Bobby Petrino only made it 13 games in Atlanta in 2007. Jim Mora with the Seahawks was that's Jim Mora Jr. Lasted just one season there in Seattle. They went 5-11. Hugh Jackson with the Raiders. Man, the Raiders pop up here a couple times. Huh? Hugh Jackson with the Raiders in 2011. Mike Mularkey with the Jaguars in 2012. Rob Chudzinski with the Browns in 2013. Jim Tomsula, one season in San Francisco in 2015. Chip Kelly, just 1 year with San Francisco in 2016. So how about that? They had back-to-back one-and-done coaches in San Fran. 15 with Tomsula, 16 with Kelly. Steve Wilkes, just one season with the Cardinals, 2018. Of course, he's the interim in Carolina right now. And then last year, old Herb went one and done with Jacksonville. So, y'all, it's not like that's a short list. Yeah, and to be, so that's, let's see, I'll count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. So 16 times you've seen coaches go one and done since 1994 in the NFL. And I want to be really clear, because I know some of y'all are going to come back and say, Matt did not say fire Dennis Allen right now. Matt said Dennis Allen has 7 games to prove he can improve this team and deserve a second year. But if this thing continues to go right down the toilet, then yeah, he needs to be a one-and-done coach, and you need to cut ties, and you need to realize that it's not going to do your organization any good by hanging on to a sinking ship for another year. That's the point I've made and will continue to make. All right, it's After Further Review. We appreciate you for being here with us. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Please smash that like button. Big shout-out again to WBTR, our new television partner. That's Cable 19 in Baton Rouge on Cox. Rev, channel 144. And if you're a cord cutter with the antenna, 36.1 is where you can see us on WBTR. So we appreciate our friends at WBRZ for making that available to our audience, so you all have another way to watch us every single day. College Football Playoff Selection Committee, they will unveil their new rankings coming up here in about 20 minutes from right now. I'll tell you, I don't. Do you have a feeling where they're going to be tonight? Tigers were 7 last week, 1 spot behind Oregon, who lost. So we would all assume they move up a spot.
Yeah, no, I think they're number 6. I do.
Okay, Paulie, do you agree? Do you have a different feeling on the matter? Do you think they go to 6?
Yeah, I think they're either 6 or 7. They stay put.
Okay, if they stay put, who do you think would jump them? That's interesting.
Probably USC.
Okay. By the way, I agree. I think that's the really interesting question. If you're looking for one thing to watch tonight, it's what do they do with SC? So the last week's 4 are going to remain the same. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. Those 4 will remain unchanged. Tennessee is going to stay 5. Oregon at 6, loss. LSU was 7. USC 8. Then Bama, Clemson. We're all assuming here that Oregon's going to drop. The question is how far. Oregon's now a 2-loss team. They would most certainly drop below Alabama. But does 1-loss Clemson go ahead of 2-loss Oregon? Probably. So you could see Oregon maybe drop from 6 to 10. Ole Miss lost. They were 11. UCLA was 12. They lost as well. So everybody else kind of bumps up a couple of spots there. But the question is, do they take 8 USC and leapfrog LSU to 6? Because now, essentially just trading the Pac-12 leader, Oregon last week, would it be USC this week? That's something worth watching tonight. Because if you believe that all of this stuff will ultimately allow dominoes to fall toward a certain direction and what the committee might be leading toward, that would be telling. I, however, don't believe that whatsoever, because as we've seen so many times throughout the years, and I'll say it again, and I wouldn't even be saying it but for LSU being in the situation they are, forcing me to talk about this. None of this matters. It literally does not matter one bit. Not one bit. Because there are givens. If Georgia's undefeated, they're in. Whoever wins Michigan, Ohio State, if they're undefeated, they're in. If TCU's undefeated, they're in. And then you'll be deciding about one more spot. And these things tend to work themselves out. USC could very easily lose to UCLA this week, to Notre Dame the following, or to Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game. That is a very plausible scenario that could unfold. And then 2-loss USC is out. Georgia, very likely, as a 2-touchdown plus favorite, will beat LSU. And LSU won't be a talking point the day the final rankings are released. It's quite possible that Clemson could lose again. And if they do, then the ACC is out. And then this becomes very cut and dried. It's SEC champ, it's TCU, it's the winner of Michigan, Ohio State, and it's Tennessee, which is very likely how this is all going to transpire that Sunday after the SEC championship game, 3 Sundays from now. But we'll all sit by and we'll pretend to care, and there'll be all this feigned indignance over whatever the committee does tonight. But in reality, nothing they do tonight really matters. So please take it all with a grain of salt. All right, we're brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com. Call Jim Woodworth and the gang over at Mold Zero. If you got mold, don't get rid of it. Let Mold Zero take care of it. Don't cut sheetrock. Don't pull out your whole systems and all the guts of your home. Just call Mold Zero. They have a patented, non-toxic dry fog treatment. Ask Jim to show you before and after pictures of homes and office buildings and churches where they had mold, came in, sprayed their fog, let it dwell for about 45 minutes. As soon as the fog dissipated, you're able to go back in and clean up. Mold-free, clean smelling, not just mold, but dozens of other pathogens it can kill as well. Serving the greater Baton Rouge and greater New Orleans areas, including the North Shore. You can go to the website and get the phone number for Baton Rouge or New Orleans. It's mold-0USA, mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com for Mold Zero. All right, y'all, it's been a really good show, man. Appreciate y'all for being here. I did just get a little bit of breaking news. If you would like to hit the breaking news sounder there, Muse. I just got this press release that the Gord father has done it again. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys has signed Mason Smith. Mason Smith. Mason Smith was already part of the G team. Mason Taylor has signed on with Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. So when Gordon was here with us last week, he said he was trying to sign Jaden Daniels, Mason Taylor. We told you last week Jaden was signed. Yesterday we told you they signed the deal with Josh Williams, and now Mason Taylor has a deal with Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. So, hey, look, man, if you're an LSU fan, I'll continue to say it. It's a hat tip to Gordon. He got really aggressive and is taking care of LSU student-athletes and really being a trailblazer for a lot of other businesses in this NIL space and making sure that in an NIL culture, LSU's best players are taken care of. So it's the game you got to play, and this guy who loves LSU and continues to step up to the plate. So congrats to Mason Taylor. He's now part of the G team there with Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. All right, we'll knock out a final break of the show. Otter Locks, 2 Maction games tonight and some NBA. We'll see what the Otters got. Otter Locks next.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Remember, y'all, I mean, look, it's 41 degrees tonight. It's frigid outside today. I mean, for me, someone who hates the cold weather, almost unbearable. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. Let them come out, give you the preseason heater safety check. Mention the Moscona special. They'll save you $30 on that service. 5-star review from Mitchell B., who said Jason was incredible with the 3 dogs and all. He understood I had my hands full, was quick and thorough, and more importantly, to the point. I love these guys and will continue to use River City's 1 Hour Air for as long as I can. Another 5-star review for River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans
and love for our community. We are
the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. Call to see how much you can save. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net. One thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, James Ott. Otter, how are you?
Matching, baby. Matching.
A little maction action.
Great
Hopefully.
At that Washington, the Commandos.
How about it?
Commandos. Charlie was in his commando gear at the show last night. You know, no underwear. So he's doing great.
Otter gave you the Commanders plus 11. How about the outright win for the Otter? Yes, sir. Cashing tickets.
Plus 405.
By the way, I'm pretty sure last week on Maction, I think you were 4-1-1, maybe?
Yes.
So solid week and a couple of games tonight. So what are we looking at?
Going right now in 7 minutes. Ohio and Ball State. We had Ohio the last couple of weeks. We're going to ride them, man. They lost their first game in conference play. They've won their next 5 and covered a lot of them. We didn't think they'd be that good, 2 years removed from Frank Solich, but man, they are rolling right now. With the win, they clinch their division in a spot in the MAC championship game. So minus the 3.5 at Ball State, 6 o'clock kick on ESPN2. Toledo, this game was hit 16.5, 17 earlier today. We talked about DeQuan Finn. Remember how that line went up last week, last minute against Ball State. So we took the points. Quinn took a while to get warmed up, but after he did, he engineered a comeback win. He had 300 yards and 3 TDs. So Bowling Green is on the slide. They got to be 40-6 last week. So this was sort of a surprise year for them. We're looking to kind of beat up on the little guy when they're having problems here. So we're laying. It's down. Check it out, Matt. What it said. It's like 14.5 or something.
DraftKings is showing 14.5. Yep.
Yeah, so from 16.5 to 17 to 14.5, take Toledo minus the points there. 5 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. So we're going to give you this one early.
Okay, great.
Yep, the 5, 6, and 7 tomorrow. This match, they like to throw you off guard.
There we go.
Shotgun start today, staggered start tomorrow.
1 minute remaining.
2, 5 o'clock. Eastern Michigan at Kent State. Kent State blew out Bowling Green last week. But Eastern Michigan, 3-3 in the league. Both teams are 3-3 in the league. How about this stat for you? Road dogs. They're in Upsalia. I don't think they like Upsalia too much. When they get out, they get excited. 19-1-1 against the spread. Their last 21 on the road in MAC play as a dog. Eastern Michigan. The Eagles used to be the Hurons.
Okay.
They don't like Upsalia. We're going with the trend right there with the Eastern Michigan plus the point. 7.5.
Yeah.
Tomorrow at 5.
Man, I like that hook. All right, Otter, where are you today?
Handy's here. He won't leave. Won't leave.
He wants a steak, old fashioned. I get it. I don't blame him.
Yeah, Supreme Rice came with a 5-pound bag of rice. He said, I got to go get my free rice.
We got to go. We got to go. Thanks, Otter. We'll see you. Muse, Paulie, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. I want to remind you again, I'm going to keep hammering this message. If you have HSA or FSA dollars, you can use those for LASIK, but they expire at the end of the year. So it is so important that you call Dr. Blake Williamson right now, or go to the website at WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEYE.com. Schedule that consultation. I went through the process. It's so easy. You'll meet with Dr. Blake. They'll look at your eyes. They'll determine if you're a candidate for LASIK. He'll explain the procedure, how it works, everything that goes into it. He put me at such ease. And I'm so thrilled I went through with it. I mean, I cannot even begin to tell you the importance of just being able to wake up in the morning and see. And the Williamson Eye Center makes that happen every day. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. the nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.